I gather you just finished to level 7?
Yes, I did.
So how was that for you?
It's very exciting to have finished. It was quite challenging. The qualifications are quite high standard and high level. And I think for me the greatest challenge was the shift in focus from the academic driven, having done your degree and being used to writing academic essays to something more practice driven and displaying your practical experience. So it took quite a while for me to be able to shift that focus, but I sat down multiple times with my tutor and we went through, I had a bit of a tendency to go off at tangent talking about brilliant 19th century labor economic theories and get lost in it, and then Karen would always have to pull me back and say, that's all great, but how does that relate to what you actually face, or the challenge you face day to day in your workplace, and how can you leverage that theoretical knowledge? And it sounds great from the outset, just bring the two together, practice and theory, and they complement each other, and then you just write this report and build your portfolio, but the balance isn't always that obvious between the two.
So it's very much rooted in the reality, the application of your
exactly.
craft.
Exactly.
Not just knowing the theory and demonstrating you can answer an essay question.
Exactly.
Much more than that.
And that's precisely the difference coming from having done a degree in HR related field of labor economics, and then having to shift that. You almost set higher expectations of being able to demonstrate very sophisticated theory to yourself, whereas what is actually expected is the actual practice of what you have learned, which isn't that hard if you start and try and put it into words and write it down on a paper. It's really rewarding because it's a two-way thing to me. It's not only writing down and getting qualification for what you've done, but everything that you learn in theory is also explaining so many things that are actually happening in the workplace. And you're like, now I understand where everything from maybe more technical areas like reward theory, all the way to employment relations and the history of why things are the way are. So they really complement each other. I feel like I was set up to succeed, and I was a lot more enhanced in my practical area of work and when I was delivering for the business by the virtue of having to study those things and study the theory,
right,
as much as I was leveraging my practice in the theory.
So the actual process of learning and the practice of having, you say the mentoring really helped you.
Yes, exactly, because mentoring is the point when it comes in, when your mentor is able for you to set that balance right between the academic knowledge and you being able to demonstrate that you are a professional to the, your boardroom or whoever you deal with, your senior management, whilst also having that hands-on. I'm in a business, I have to think of practicalities. I can't always do everything perfectly the way the textbook tells me. I have to consider realities, and I get frustrated at times when things were going wrong in my world of work, and I would call up my mentor and my tutor, I guess I would say mentor and tutor from CIPD Advanced, and I would say, I know it's not study related, but I'm struggling with this executive I have, and just general advice, or I would vent my frustrations, and after a 10-minute call I'd calm down and have an outside perspective, and sometimes that's all you really need to do.
So working with Cullen Scholefield, then what was the most important thing that they gave you, that they helped you with?
I guess I set up from the outset when I was thinking of which provider to go with. Cullen Scholefield came on top because of the flexibility that they provide. So I worked for a global company back then, and I knew that I was potentially required to work globally. And they were one of the very few providers that were able to provide the flexibility of we're always going to be there for you. You can pick up a phone if you're in Abu Dhabi or in Singapore or in London, and the support is similar. I could call Cara up any hour of the day and say, I can't do this, or I'm giving up, or I need help with something, or simply share successes and say everything's going brilliantly, and have that support that I don't have to sit in a classroom with a bunch of people and have a not very user interface focused training where you just sit and listen. But instead of that, we can talk things through and bounce back and forth, and it doesn't matter where in the world I would be.
So you've done this level 7, and then you got the final piece of work done. What's the next thing for you?
For me, I guess it really, when I started with the qualifications, I thought I'll do a level 7 because it gives me a nice little title and nice qualification on my CV. But once you're actually doing it, you realize there's so much more value to it. It opens up new worlds and new windows of opportunity for you. So now I'm thinking of becoming a fellow of CIPD. where I can demonstrate my opinions and things I feel strongly about in HR. I'm able to go almost into CIPD and influence it from within, and also the qualification that showed me that the partnership of working with Cullen Scholefield is extremely strong, so I can bring them in to support my business that I'm now working with,
right.
On a higher capacity level, to help them support me on leadership development and capability and learning.
So everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Exactly. So I'm really looking forward to continuing partnership and different ways of working. So I started off as just doing qualifications as a teacher and student relationship, and now I'm looking forward to partnering with them for different challenging opportunities that I have set for me.
That's great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.